It's your drive home on Hot 103. Folks, looks like that storm is headed right for us. Gonna put some gas in my Furman generator, stop by the ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, and of course, watch Mike's weather page. Y'all stay safe out there.
Welcome. Shelly just texted me. I didn't have the audio on. I'm a one-man band. I always mess something up. I was saying, welcome to our special Saturday Night Live. We were live this morning. We'll probably be live tomorrow. Shelly, you good with that? 9:19. Yeah, so tropics are heating up, man. We're going to talk about it. Welcome to all the new fans and followers. I know we get a lot of people over on TikTok coming over this way now. We're streaming live on X, Facebook, and YouTube right now. Lots of folks watch. We really appreciate it. It's our daily brew. And we talk tropics. We've been talking tropics since 2016. And we've went through a lot of hurricanes together. We went through a lot of major hurricanes together. I've been in storms. We've all been through storms, and we're fixing to see another storm. One thing that I still see all the new people think that I hype, and if you think I hype, please follow someone else, please, because I don't intend to hype. But if you think I hype, then by all means, don't follow. I'm not a real meteorologist. There's plenty of reputable sources like the National Hurricane Center and National Weather Service. So I just, I try so hard to not hype. And people still say I'm hyping. So that just bugs the hell out of me. That's why I hug my dog and say, screw it. All right, so we normally say hi to everybody. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm not being rude, but I want to go right into what's cooking. Really quick, though, first and foremost, we're going to talk all day about TD10. This is Franklin. I'm seeing a trend with Franklin. This thing might turn a little closer to Bermuda. I know we got a lot of followers in Bermuda. Euro actually almost over Bermuda. And believe it or not, whatever becomes of Tropical Depression 10 might end up going over there. So we have 63,000 people over there that live in Bermuda watching Tropics. So just want to point that out. Keep an eye on Franklin. For sure. Jeffrey, thanks, buddy. All right, this is what we got. So we got that. Now, they just designated it Tropical Depression 10. Hurricane hunters are going out tomorrow. Hey, this is the best dang tropical depression I've ever seen in my life. I'm telling you, I don't know what to think. It looks impressive. We talked about it this morning. It was sitting under a pocket of light wind shear. Waters are hot. That's what it looks like tonight. Man, right? Holy cow. Not hyping, but that looks incredibly impressive at the moment. We haven't had any ASCAP passes to get wind readings yet, so there's really just no data yet to support it not being anything other than tropical depression. But the hurricane hunters are heading out tomorrow. They got a whole bunch of missions planned, tons of missions planned. They're going to be flying in and out of that thing. So tomorrow, you can track that on Tropical Tidbits. I always put the link out there for everybody. But this is what we're watching. It's going to sit here for a couple days. It's not going to move. Steering currents, because of Franklin, have kind of parked it right here. That's kind of what we got to worry about a little bit. Here's the latest track. This one just came out. So I did not even think they were going to put a hurricane on it, but they did. So the official track has it meander around at least till Monday, and then it's going to do a liftoff. And there's an approaching frontal line. They're seeing it. They're talking about it. Nothing's changed on that. The only thing that's changed, and I kind of brought it up yesterday, posting, upper panhandle, don't keep your eyes off of this thing. We're starting to see more trending north. Really hasn't changed, honestly. We've been drawing Tampa to the tip of the panhandle. It's actually just a little bit more over, but that's it. I got to talk about the cone real quick before we lose everybody. The cone is anywhere the eye can go. There's so much confusion on the cone. The cone is where the center of the storm can go, and I tell you that the folks in Fort Myers area, where Ian hit, they were on this edge of the cone. A lot of them were focused on that. They weren't focused on the edge of the cone. If we've never seen a more important example of a system than Ian last year, was that. And the cone has nothing to do with the effects of the storm. The effects of the storm always occur well outside of this hatched area. So it's tough. I know a lot of people focus on this center line, and that's all they look at. All they look at is this center line right here. They don't look anywhere else. They're like, it's going to go to our west. It's going to go to our east. So just, that's not hype either. And trust me, after what happened with Ian last year, nobody on that outer edge really, unless you watched models, because Spaghetti Ensembles had a lot of models going towards that area. So we had a lot of proof, that there might be a really decent chance. But if you just looked at the cone, you might have said, oh. So anyway, that's the latest cone. NHC's having 75 miles an hour here. One thing that they mentioned during Herald, and I screenshotted it, they didn't do it yet, but they don't tell you what the miles per hour is there. And I screenshotted it during Herald because they basically said the same thing that I wish they would change, is a landfall prediction on speed. And what they said with Herald is it's important to note that the 12-hour timestamps is not reflected in what's going to happen from here to here. So if it's strengthening, it's going to be more than it is at 1 p.m. Tuesday. And I put a post out, again, not hyping anything, I don't know if it's 9 times out of 10, most of the time the first NHC track update. Remember a couple days ago I took the post down, people got confused? It was the track of Dorian and it was the track of Michael. The early NHC cones showed a tropical storm hitting the panhandle for Michael, the first cone, and the first 5-day cone for Dorian had it as a tropical storm in the Bahamas near Florida. So that tells you, not saying this is going to be a Cat 5, but there's 2 Cat 5s in recent memory that the first 5-day cone showed tropical storm on day 5. So they're known for that. If you read their discussion, the NHC discussion, this is what they say. Users are reminded that there is a significant uncertainty in day 3, day 4 intensity predictions and urged to monitor. That's basically saying they're seeing the same models I'm fixing to show you, and they're not quite ready yet to raise the panic level, maybe a little bit, if you want to call it panic level. But there are some key messages you need to read. These are very important. These come out at 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Key messages. Potential storm surge, heavy rain, strong winds, portions of Florida West Coast and the Florida Panhandle by middle of next week. Then heavy rains are going to spread into the southeast. Too soon to know the magnitude of effects for Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. So that's that in a nutshell. Website's updated. I got an app. I had an app issue today. I apologize. I think it's fine. It was down for about an hour, man. It was worst timing ever. The app company, they went into an automatic default. I had a payment due and I never got an invoice, so they automatically locked the account. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I actually put $500 in there today. I'm like, just put a bunch of money in there, man. Like, anyway, it's back. Hopefully, knock on wood. I'm not going to knock on wood because the dogs will go wild right now, but we should be good. I apologize. It was only down a little bit. Okay, so here's cone. All these graphics are on the website. Wind prediction. This is a great map here. This is the earliest arrival of tropical storm force winds. So, great map. Telling you, look, Tuesday, 8 a.m., we can start seeing tropical storm force winds across any of this area. What this means is you might not have school Tuesday. They don't have buses on the roads when there's 30 miles an hour or whatever. So people asking about school closures, I've been, thinking Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But if this graphic comes true, tropical storm force winds at Tuesday, 8 a.m. are already going to be in half of the peninsula. And then reaching the, Florida, Georgia line, panhandle midday Tuesday. So probably going to be school closures Tuesday, at least. And then Wednesday, maybe. But look how fast it's going. This thing is rocket shipping out of here. That's what these storms do when there's an approaching frontal line. They just get a hold of that, and man, they're gone. Long gone by Thursday. So that hasn't changed. What has changed from yesterday is the intensity models. And I'm going to start showing you those here in a second. Anything else on the graph here is important. I do have Cuba radar. It was working earlier. Let's see if it's working now. I'll tell you a great site. I need to link it up here, but it's Brian McNulty has a website that has past tracks, and he actually has some now for Tropical Depression 10. So clear as day. We got rotation down there. That's between Yucatan and Cuba. This is Cuban radar, but I'll link that. I need to have that linked on there because he's got a lot of great images. He's got Cuban. Cancun most 6 hours, so there's definitely something happening down there in the Yucatan, very much so. Actually, let's look at the map. So we were looking at 500 millibar this morning, then we're going to go right into the models, promise. Earlier today, 500 millibar showed that, which is still showing. 700 kind of close, actually. 850 a lot better. So we went into the whole stacking thing earlier this morning. That's your 850 millibar. This thing's almost stacking. So there you go. It's definitely a lot better organized today than it was. And these satellite winds are way stronger than what it was this morning. And what they're looking for now is these ASCAT wind satellite passes, and they're hoping to get one, but they keep missing that region. They're random, but there hasn't been a pass yet, so nobody really knows what's going on down there. That's concerning. I got to tell you a stat. A lot of y'all don't come here a lot. I'm going to say it, and then we're going to go right into the models. There have been, now please, I'm just preparing people for what some of these models are showing. But there's been 10 hurricanes that hit the continental U.S. that have been 150 miles an hour plus. 9 of those were tropical storms 3 days out. Okay, so rapid intensification is real. 9 out of 10 storms that have hit the United States have rapidly intensified in 3 days. So this thing's supposed to make landfall Tuesday night. Tomorrow, Sunday. We don't want to see a tropical storm tomorrow. That would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Just saying. Some of these intensity models are, paint a pretty rough picture of possibilities. So what we got to trust are the models. And we're going to tropical tidbits. Let's start out with the almighty Euro. The Euro usually is king as far as track goes. Intensity, I would argue, is kind of conservative a lot of times. But we'll show you the latest. We got the 12Z. And it pretty much has been consistent with this thing staying around 1,000 millibars. So tomorrow, we want to see this thing stay above 1,000 millibars before it starts lifting up. And when it starts lifting up, you can see the Euro strengthens it into mid 990s, 993 in the Big Bend area. Late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. And then there's our East Coast impacts as it exits. We talked a lot about that this morning. I'll get into that more a little bit. But that's rain. You can follow along. Wherever you see these bright colors, heavy rain. And pretty much, especially on the eastern side, we're going to see a lot of storms. Even into the lower part of the peninsula, starting Tuesday, maybe some Monday night down in the Keys. So tropical systems feeder bands, you don't have to be in that eye cone to have feeder bands whipping around the state. We have daytime heating on Tuesday. It's very hot, so expect that. We're going to have tornadoes. Tornadoes are very, very common with tropical systems. When this thing approaches, everything is going to be coming in hot on the right side. When this thing starts to exit here, it's going to be hot on the front side as our system rotates counterclockwise. And we got a lot of warm waters, Gulf Stream, deepening pressures. Anytime you have low pressures, you get storms. And there's plenty of fuel out there to work with these warm waters. And there's, that. Let's show you a couple other ones, and then I'm going to show you the high resolution ones. Here's the latest Canadian. Now we're getting into the point where these Canadian model isn't a very good tracking model, but it's still showing 990 in the upper panhandle. The Icon 18Z is running now, and it's showing Tampa Bay. Again, not a very good track model. These models do good sniffing systems out, but they are outliers as far as the track. We got Canadian up here. We got Icon in Tampa. And the Icon's at 997. So listen, anything in the 990s is just it could be a low end hurricane. That's what the pressures mean. Anything around 1,000 is a tropical storm. Technically, anything around 995 ish could be a hurricane. It all depends on what they find as far as wind speeds go. And there it goes. Deepenings into 988. So man, same scenario. All these things. The only thing that's changed today, I'm fixing to show you, is the intensity models. I'm not even show the Canadian. I'm not even show the GFS. Unless they want to pay me, I'm going to start showing the GFS. I don't show the GFS. The UK, I do want to show you this. Then I'm going to show you the really bad models of the intensity. So the UK model did very well with Ian last year. And it's been trending a little bit with the Euro as far as location goes. So again, we're going to see things. If you've ever heard anything in the tropics talk about windshield wiper effects, flip-flopping, so we have already seen that. A little shift to the panhandle, a little shift to peninsula, back to the panhandle. We might see a shift back. I'm reminding folks that in Tampa, especially because that's my home, and what we saw with Ian, Charlie, Irma, and Ian turned at the last second. They were on the outer edges of those cones. We have an approaching front, the same exact scenario. Stronger systems sometimes have a more poleward Coriolis effect turn. So, just we might see that. You can't focus on the guarantee that this thing is going to not turn a little bit, maybe more, just from history. We'll see. A day out, if it's pointing at you, maybe it's going to go a little bit to your right. And if it does that, you're on the cleaner side. We're seeing a lot of that last second turning. And I'm telling you, these things are turning. And that's what Ian did. But here's the latest UK. And it is showing a more north track. So the Icon is the outlier with Tampa. Even the UK now is moving up. And again, look at the intensity. So I'm not sold on these intensity models I'm fixing to show you because our main operational runs are still pretty low, or high, meaning low speed, high pressure. All right. So we got these other models that the NHC is kind of quoting a little bit with their wording. So we got the H-Wharf. I use the H-Wharf a lot over the years. But it's not even on there. Oh, it should be 10. Oh, wait a minute. They haven't even run yet. Well, that's a bummer. They switch them over to 10. So we don't have it yet. It hasn't run yet. Darn it. All right. Well, let's see if the HAFS did. No, we're still... Oh, man. Well, God, I did a graphic earlier. I guess I could show the graphic. Let me just show you the graphic of the 4, because these are all running now. Now that we've switched over to TD10, they have to run. Let's see, we might be able to go to prior models. Let's see. The Hurricane models let you do that? I don't even know if we can do prior models on these. I don't think you can. Bummer. All right, let's go over to Twitter. And I'm going to show you what I posted over here. This is it. All right, so these are off Tropical Tidbits. Let me just leave these up here. Now, they're bad, okay? Let's hope they're not right. But it'd be irresponsible not to show you what all 4 of these hurricane intensity models are showing. Basic track north. The HAFSA is a new hurricane model for 2023. It's showing... like all these are in the like crazy 930 range. Oh man, that's weird looking. Whoa, all kinds of things. Let me open a new image here. There we go. Now I can zoom in. All right, so the HAFSA was in the 940 range. H-Warp was 930 range. HAFSB was in the 930 range. Even the HMON was around 960. All right, so 4 models that are hurricane specific are showing it's a pretty intense intensification. So just got to keep that in the back of your mind. There's nothing official with this forecast at all. They all initiated about a 990 range storm before that liftoff. The Euro's not showing that. So tomorrow, it's everything. If this thing develops tomorrow, then we got to really start worrying about rapid intensification. It all depends on tonight and tomorrow. And what it looks like right now, it looks like it's intensifying. So, the stronger it is in the Yucatan, the stronger it's going to be by landfall. Everybody's showing intensification. All models are showing intensification by landfall. And this is all like Tuesday night. This is overnight Tuesday, overnight Tuesday, and Wednesday basically. So Tuesday night things start going downhill fast, and we could be looking at an overnight landfall possibly. Hopefully this will change. The fact that 4 of them did it, I wanted to bring it up. Earlier today we were 970 range, the HAFS and the H-Wharf. They were 970 range. They went lower. All right, so we can also look here at the latest Euro ensembles, and we're going to see if how many of those members now are showing something a little bit stronger. We started seeing some 970s and 980s on the Euro ensemble plot, and usually looking at ensembles is when you start seeing the possibility that the next operational run is going to maybe be a little deeper. But let's see here. I don't know if I can really turn off the tracks. Maybe we could see a little better. Let's see here. And we'll stop it right there. All right, so we got a 972, 990, 990, 980, 970, 966. So it really hasn't changed much. There's a 979, 984. So these are pressure readings. So hopefully those are just outliers. Regardless, the NHC has a hurricane well offshore heading towards the Panhandle. So, let's leave it to the official forecast for now. 75 miles an hour. What it does from here to here, big question mark. Most models are showing it strengthened at the last second, so could increase even if it doesn't change in this forecast, we're still going to be looking at a strengthening hurricane by landfall. But if you read between the lines of what they said, very uncertain day 4, day 5. That's just what we got to watch. So anyway, but everything's kind of getting cut and dry, right? I mean, we know there's going to be effects inland way before this thing gets here. Let's see if I got my HAFS. Let me see if it's on this one here. We still have 93L, so I might be able to look at it this way. All right, so here's one hurricane model. Wow. All right, so this is Monday night. Holy cow! Look at this. Look at this. All right, so this is Monday. So Monday, we can already start to see bands of storms into the Florida Peninsula as early as Monday. That's a little earlier than I even thought. We said the Keys Monday, but this is midday Monday night. So Monday we can start to see bands rolling up into Florida when our storm is still down there by the Yucatan. One thing to note too, man. The stronger a system gets, the tighter it gets. So sometimes it'll actually pull in the moisture, and if it's way off the coast, you might not get as much from a sloppier system. But this is Tuesday. Still seeing strong feeder bands rolling around this thing. This will be when we get tornadoes, strong storms, periods of sunshine. There's our system tightening up. 967 millibar already. This is the HAFS for Tuesday. And then, of course, it really brings it in as something pretty strong. 950. This is still a 12Z. This is the one I showed earlier. But so the important thing is going to be tomorrow. Basically, here's Monday. So Monday morning, it's predicted 989. This is what we got to worry about tomorrow. So when we're watching the Hurricane Hunters tomorrow, we don't want to see anything under 1,000 millibars because that's going to increase the likelihood that this thing's going to be stronger as it goes north. And the way it looks now, man, it looks very impressive. So as far as trying to develop. So that's what we got to worry about. Here's a satellite, what it could look like if it was to happen. This is your estimated satellite imagery. And of course, there's our storms rolling in Wednesday, coming in off of the Gulf Stream. Nothing's changed on that. We're going to have big coastal impacts, supermoon Tuesday night, Wednesday, one of the largest moons of the year. That's going to only intensify coastal surge and flooding as this thing passes by. Latest Euro, let's take a look at the latest wave map on the Euro. So depending how close this thing gets to your area, here are some of your wave heights. Let me get over here. We're going to see a little better. So there you go. Max 34 foot. So these are not surge numbers. This is the Euro. Remember, this is the Euro at only a 995 pressure system. These waves will get way bigger if this thing intensifies past 995. 995 pressure, still going to see 20, 30 foot seas. And all that's going to blow toward the coast. Add the supermoon, and we have coastal issues. Not hyping that up. Tropical storm Ada a couple years ago. Hundreds of homes were flooded in Pinellas County because of a tropical storm that was off 60 miles with high tide and a full moon. So this is still, even without a direct landfall for our Tampa Bay West Central area, we're going to see a lot of coastal impacts no matter what. And if this thing gets stronger, these waves get bigger. A lot bigger. Meaning more coastal impacts and more surge. I don't think we have any surge maps yet. Maybe the Hurricane Center, once we get in that window. They'll issue watches for 48 hours before. We're starting to get some now. I don't know how accurate these things are, but I'll put this link over here. This is an experimental surge map, and it gets really, once we get a cone. Oh, this should have a cone. Is a cone on it? That's still invest. Darn it. All right. Well, anyway, it'll update with the new NHC forecast soon. This is a coastal emergency risk assessment, and you can just follow along right here. This is green, 3 to 4 foot. So this by tomorrow, this map will become really a good idea what we might see from this system with surge. Again, the moon's full. You're going to want to pay attention really close to things like this tide chart. You're going to want to see, when your high tides are. And Storm Prediction Center probably hasn't yet. They haven't. They will. We'll start getting more SPC detailed outlooks. Here's your intensity maps. I mean, take it for what it's worth. They're not always that accurate, but they're already showing a few storms. High intensity, several in the hurricane range now, but we even have a couple now, 1 and 2 inches, past 2. So all that gets updated and tweaked a little bit, but it's cut and dry, everybody. I don't know, man. I think hopefully it makes sense to you. Here's the latest spaghetti models. The Euro is trending a little bit east of your spaghetti models. If you look at this map, this kind of shows you that the red line is the official NHC line, and we still have some in the panhandle. So, nothing's really cut and dry yet. As a matter of fact, we might be able to see ensembles now. We do. Okay, so I need to change the link. This is Southwest Florida Water Management. They include ensemble in the light grays and Euros in the light pinks. They're not up there yet, but we will see them soon. So I like this one too because it shows ensembles. But south of Tampa, there's not a lot. Doesn't mean you can't get effects. But when we were tracking Ian, we had a lot of spaghetti models turning towards that area. We had a lot of ensembles. We don't have ensembles like that now. So at this point, low chance Tampa Bay South as a direct hit. Doesn't mean it can't change. But the eyes rarely go outside that NHC cone over the last few years. The NHC does a great job with their cones. But spread the word, man. I'm telling you, very few people have any idea what's going on. I talked to so many people. They're like, huh? Storm? What storm? It's like, yeah, we got a hurricane coming Tuesday. What? Like, yeah, Tuesday. Let's see if I can really zoom in on the cone. So here's the current cone. We'll just leave it up here like this. Then we chit-chat a little bit longer. So again, 75 miles an hour here. What's it going to do all the way up to here? That's a long way to go. Not a lot of hours, but still 10 hours over water. You never know, man. Rapid intensification happens 24 millibars in 24 hours. So this will be the area we watch close. But that's your official cone, Panama City, outskirts of Panama City, down past Sarasota, around Sarasota. So that's your official cone right now. All right. So anyway, cold front's coming down, Mikey. Yep. It's a race between the storm approaching the cold front and how strong that cold front is. A little weaker cold front, a little slower cold front. It goes a little farther north. System, reacts to these cold fronts. That's why they curve. Cold front's pretty confident at this point. So, unless we start seeing some outliers popping up, we're not. For sure. So, we shall see, Hayden. What's up, Carl? Thanks for the start, everybody. Current radar down by the Yucatan. No, I don't. I don't have the current radar. I've looked for it. It's been down. I tried to find another one. The one that I did have, I have a link to the Cuban radar, but I think it's down too. They don't really have the best radars. Where is it at? Cuba radar. Let's see. It was working earlier. Now it's not. Everybody's trying to go to the Cuba radar. They're like, why is the whole world on our radar? Web server down there is running on overload. The tongue's hanging out. So no Cuba radar right now. All right. So yeah, radar app. It'll be on a radar app, satellite, so you can see it. You can go down here. I got a satellite link here. Satellite radar. I think I got this one going to AccuWeather. Satellite radar will work. I don't know how accurate it is compared to real satellite, but it'll give you an idea. You can zoom in on it and whatnot. So yeah, some of your radar apps will show it. It's, like I said, it's satellite driven, maybe not as accurate. When am I leaving to go chasing? Well, Tuesday. We'll do our live Tuesday, and that'll probably be it for me. System off Africa, I had no idea. We're not even gonna talk about it yet. Can I measure the storm? Yeah, we can do that. Good site to do that would be Weather Nerds. It's got a measuring tool. So go to custom satellite and we can zoom in a little bit. It's kind of blowing up again tonight. A lot of convection down there. That's big. It's definitely getting on. Where did that come from? That thing is getting the juice. That says 667. Might be a little big. That's 472. That's 500. I'd say at least 500 miles wide. At least 450 to 500. Long ways it's 600 plus, but I could safely say it's about 500. I would, if I had to guess on the conservative end, we'd say 500 miles wide. That right there is 617. That's big, man. That's 500 miles wide. And here's your loop. Man, I just got a weird, I don't know, man. I don't like, that thing's really, what the hell happened there? Ooh, that's weird. Let's go back. I wanted to see the infrared spin, if we got any spin or not. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit. This is where the spin's at. But I tell you what, this is interesting to me. That 850 is right there. Good structure on this 700, almost stacked. 500, really close to stacked. We haven't done this to a system all year, but this is definitely trying to organize quick. Wind shear in the area, there is some tendency well, there's not a lot actually, very little right here. It's a little wind shear. It's still got a high pressure over top of it, so yeah, it's got like no wind shear at all. Yeah, this thing, I'm telling you, man, I'd be all eyes glued to those hurricane hunters in the morning. All right, what else we talking about it? Cold front is coming, Darren, 100%. It's all over the place here. Surface charts, 100%. There's your cold front right there. Boom, 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 boom. Cold front there. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's picking our system up, turning it out. The turn is coming, 100%. I'm telling you, if we see cold front coming, man, I would always worry if you're in the cone. I'd always worry if you're on that center line, but I would definitely, from history, worry if you're on the east side of that center line as any last second turns that we've been seeing with these cold fronts. Stronger systems are more influenced by a turn and a pull northeastward. So, that'll be interesting to watch, as we've seen that a lot lately. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, tell my gut feeling. Well, okay, I'll tell you. I think that this thing's going to be a tropical storm tomorrow, a day early, and I think they're going to start teasing the idea of a 980s, 970 millibar range, 90-mile-an-hour hurricane. Then they might bump it up a little more than that. So I definitely think, just looking at that structure and what we're seeing down there with convection right now, tomorrow I think it'll be a little stronger than they expected, and that'll obviously change the end models that we have to worry about. Those intensity models really got me interested. When we were tracking Michael, the main operation models, is important to note, they were still showing stronger systems. The fact that we don't have main operational models showing anything too strong right now, you can't get too worked up thinking the worst case scenario. But yesterday we didn't have any worst case scenarios. We did none. And like I talked about this morning, unless we had models, yesterday I had a gut feeling. I'm like, it's where the hot water, no wind shear. It looks, but we didn't have any model support. So I was like, well, unless we get model support, now we have model support, this thing could intensify fast. And looking at history, we've had storms intensify fast. That's not hype, that's facts. And the water temperatures are way normal than they've ever been. Additional fuel. So we just got to watch it close. I mean, there's very little dust in the atmosphere right now. Almost none, actually. Let me go to my one page. I got to link it. I can't remember the number. Was it 6? Nope. 4? Yep. So this is a cool site. I showed it this morning, but we can superimpose the SAL somewhere. Shear, dry air. There it is. All right. So there's your dry air map. Very little in the Gulf. If you follow me, we were looking at stuff like this last week. There's very little dry air in the Gulf right now. There's moisture, and I guarantee one map we haven't looked at, Bobby's favorite map, if she's in here, is the precipitable water map, and I bet you we're going to see some moisture right there, and we do. There is some drier to the north, but it's also pulling down some more moisture from the north part of Florida. But there you go. That's a lot of moisture. It's actually bigger than Franklin as far as moisture goes. So there's a lot of moisture for this thing to pull in. And it's over these hot OHC waters. Talk about that all the time. We got a loop current out there. All this is, just pointing to the fact that this thing could be stronger than a 75-mile-an-hour hurricane, put it that way. So timing, I feel confident it's going to be out of here. It's going to race on out of here. That's confident. I just think the big unknown is intensity. And you can read the NAC discussion and see that in their tone. Very uncertain. They always say very uncertain. It sounds like this time they're a little more uncertain. And I'm not wish casting. Just if we didn't see 4 models showing intensification like we're seeing, then I'd feel a lot more comfortable saying this thing's not going to become anything more than a weak Cat 1. But we have to, think what we've seen in the past. It's a fast mover. Still going to see some heavy rains. Some of these rain maps are way more than what Harold was already. Look at this. We're already seeing 5 to 7 inches of rain. So, Harold showed no rain, and we still had 8 to 9 to 10 inches of rain in Corpus Christi. We're seeing a lot of rain early. This is going to get more, guaranteed. We're going to see double-digit rains along the Florida West Coast Panhandle. So that, flooding. It's not going to stall, but, these pockets of rain are showing up. Let's look at a blended models. I think the blend model worked really good earlier today. We could look at a NOAA blended rains here. There they are. All right, so let's go to southeast and look here. So here's your blend of all models, and you can see a lot of rain. This is through Friday. Let's just keep it there. But there's your initial rain maps, and every time we do this, they're getting higher and higher. So even what is officially predicted now with a GFS influence on this, which is farther to the Panhandle, 5-6 inches all along the Florida West Coast, 3 to 4, 5 down south west coast, couple inches. So a lot of rain, and this is steady rain. Rain training and pockets of rain will increase. Like there'll be isolated areas that will have more. We get these constant rain bands that roll in off the Gulf. Gulf's hot. MJO. Tired of talking about the MJO. I haven't heard anybody else talk about it. Look at this rain total up here. This thing goes a little more inland. We're going to have some pretty big rains across the mountains, and this could lead to a lot of flash flooding. Georgia, Carolinas. Anything brown is around 6 inches. That's a lot of rain. This is all next week before the weekend. So, huge rain event. Unfortunately, it's hard to share this because it all depends on the track. This is probably picking a track like that because it's GFS influence. The track goes down here, all this rain shifts inland a little bit more. So, it just gives you an idea of what to expect coming up. A lot of rain, tornadoes, So we got 33 counties in a state of emergency from state of Florida today. So the Florida Division of Emergency Management, always a great source of information. Kevin Guthrie, good friend of mine now, and his crew, his ladies, Amelia and company, if you're watching. So they're putting out a lot of great information for Florida, as we have 33 counties in a state of emergency now. So, Jason, loop eddies? Yeah, let's take a look at the loop eddies. Loop currents are fascinating. They are rivers of warm water. We really don't have one on the Florida West Coast, but this thing's sitting off one right now. This is basically fuel. This is a steady stream of hot water, goes down upwards of 3,000 feet of warm Caribbean water. And as our system goes north, it'll feed off of all this extra water. So that's the current. It's like a bathtub. I always compare it to like a bathtub. You turn a bathtub on and your hot water spreads. You can feel it. Might be cold over here, but that hot water warms the Gulf. This is, Harvey had one. It sat on top of that. So luckily we really don't have one up here, but the waters are so hot, and it's going to be moving so fast. It really won't take advantage of it like a system that was stalling. But it is taking advantage of it here because it's sitting right on top of that. Just endless fuel for this thing to organize. And it looks like it is organizing. It didn't lose any convection overnight. We're starting to see a little bit now, but that's these things always do that. The diurnal cycle, or I can't ever pronounce it, but all right. What else we got? So today's tax-free holiday. Yes, somebody brought that up. It's a great time to get your supplies, batteries. There's all kinds of stuff on that. It's ironic. It started on Saturday today, right? So yeah, tax-free holiday. You can Google that one. I'll tell you what. I'm going to put the link on here. I'm going to put the FDM link very on top. So I'm going to put right here, right there. I'm going to put the Florida Division of Emergency Management link on there, and there's a lot of great information. So as soon as we're done, I'm going to do that. There's 33 counties. I'm not sure. I do have a link on there. I did put on there. So. All right, Mark Hall, 18Z's coming out. Susanna, what's coming out? 18Z model runs? Man, I got so many tabs open. Let's see here. Why is my thing? All right, let's go over here. Let's see if we got any. I'm really curious now that we have 10. There we go. It's running now. Ugh. All right, so the HFSA. What is that? What is? It's like a homeowners association. So we got to come up with a different name than this. We can call it HAFS, the HAFS model. Anyway, tomorrow night they're showing 997 already. This is not what we want to see. Like I said, if this thing leaves down here, the euro is still predicting it to be around here at like 1,005, 1,006. So the euro originally was showing 970 a couple days ago. And it stopped. So we don't want to give up on the euro. I mean, I don't want to throw it under the bus or anything, but why is it only showing 12Z? What am I doing wrong here? I don't know. Might be because I clicked something else. All right, so this is what the euro is showing exiting as it enters the Gulf. So it's not expecting it to really do anything tomorrow. 1,003, 1,002. This is Monday morning, 1,003. So whatever it is here determines what it is here. And the euro is showing 1,003 Monday morning. And the latest HAFS model, it's only around 30 hours yet, 997. Do we have the B? The B out there? B. B's at 999. A little higher. The H-Wharf is not running yet. H-Mon? 997 tomorrow noon. So anyway, that's what we got to watch. Stronger this thing develops tomorrow, the more we got to worry about Tuesday, okay? Bottom line. So there we go. So it's going to sit there for 2 days. It's not going to lift off until there's the steering currents right now. Everything's mainly because of Franklin, believe it or not. It's kind of cool how that's doing things. So you got these winds here kind of just stopping our system in its tracks from doing anything. There's some, steering currents are extremely weak. There's really nothing right now. So our system's just kind of sitting there. Once our front comes down, we'll start getting more winds coming up out of the west, and that helps push our system up and over. There's going to be some wind shear. We've seen wind shear in the past. Models would show that and start weakening on landfall. I haven't seen any models show any weakening before landfall, indicating not a lot of wind shear yet. So you hear about wind shear, but we don't see any models weakening before landfall. All right. Pop, pop, pop. All right. So nothing to hype about. Recap. National Hurricane Center, your number one source. Read everything they have. They have a discussion that's very valuable. They have key messages that are very valuable. And that's it. Everything else I do is speculative. And we look at the what ifs and where it's going and stuff like that. So, all right, well, I'm going to cut it short. We're almost been an hour. So, what time tomorrow, Shelly? 9:19. Hell yeah. We're going to TBBC, by the way. I love Dennis. So here's the thing. I love Dennis so much. I don't think he likes me sometimes. He's like, he texted me yesterday. Why'd you put that post on about the H-Wharf? Oh man, I get a little worked up sometimes, but he's a great guy, man. I love him to death. He's a great guy. He's a great asset to our Tampa Bay area for sure. I tend to scare people because I do share possibilities, but I think our track record has been proven that, we're right 51. I'm going to get a shirt. I'm right 51% of the time. 51%. I'm 51% right. Of course, Shelly's great. We love Shelly to death, too. So, of course, all our supporters, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, been sponsoring me for 5 years. We got a new sponsor I'm so excited about. We'll be talking more about it. They're local, but we kind of wanted a really good window company, Direct Remodels. They're located right here. They're big fans of our site, man. He just wants to support what I do. It's great. So I look forward. And they got a Pelican. I told Shelly today. I'm like, hey. So we're in the market for windows, believe it or not. Mainly for power. Our windows are so thin right now that I guarantee half the heat's getting into our house. So anyway, glad to have them on board. We're going to talk about them a lot more. Of course, locally, Decks and Docks signed up for another year. We're going to do some fun stuff with them, showcasing their seawall technology, lodging solutions. I got all the big dogs over here on a rotation. Try to talk about everybody. But just really appreciate it. Enabling me to do what I love. And I am storm chasing. We got the truck ready to go. I got Starlink working today. Hey, check this out. I got Starlink and my first test. I didn't know it was motorized. When I hit the button, the thing started moving. I was like, what the hell? But I got 65 down and 6 up. That's pretty darn good. I can stream about 2K up or 2 megabytes up. And this, I'm excited about that. So I'm really happy. Starlink. I took a picture with the power inverter. My, Furman's got their electric power inverter, electric generator basically. So I can plug it in the back. It'll run for hours and hours and hours on my 0E. So I have portable internet. I'm excited. I'll have internet. Might not during the eye of the storm, but I'll have it as soon as I'll have it in the eye of the storm because we'll have blue sky. Mabel's in North Carolina. Listen, I hate to focus only on Florida, but I think I've hopefully done enough to show how this thing's going to cross and bring a lot of rain and nasty weather Wednesday for the Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina too. Same scenario, deepening low pressure, energy coming off that Western Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, or Gulf Stream. Squalls out on the Gulf Stream. Big storms coming soon, right? Shelly works for coffee and chocolate. Yeah. The race is on. Oh, that's right. I forgot about NASCAR. I am so glad. Harris wants to know what... so the NHC measures flight level winds They convert those sometimes, and they do their drop zones. The drop zones actually end up dissolving in the ocean. So they actually take data at the surface level with their little drop zones. And a lot of the missions tomorrow are going to be measuring the upcoming front. They're going to be measuring how strong the high pressure system is that's steering this thing. They're going to be measuring atmospheric humidity, which is crucial for storms development. All that data is going to be fed into the models. So every time the National Hurricane Hunters get data, it gets fed into the models, and then the models become even better. So they're doing a lot of extra flights tomorrow. A lot of flights, like more flights than I've ever seen. So tomorrow I'll be on it all day. I'm here all day tomorrow. Raise wind, Joel. Yeah. Oh, man. Shelby Long. Stephanie Outer Banks, I wouldn't say look great. I hope you're being sarcastic. You're going to have a lot of nasty weather. This thing rolls on out of here. You're going to get a lot of action coming up as this low pressure escapes you guys. So, all right, well, everything's on the website. Shop MWP gear. I get this question all the time. Where do you get a shirt? We actually have all kinds of shirts. You get your Louis Cup redneck. I'll be wearing my redneck Storm Chaser shirt. We got a new logo this year. My palm tree logo. Our diehards have already picked them up. But we got a lot of cool designs. We got the dogs, the Hurricane Hunter watch dogs. So check that out. We got our cruise coming up. We're almost booked on the cruise, but our 3rd annual cruise is coming up. If you're a cruiser and love to cruise, we have the most amazing time. This is a 6-night, which is great. 2 days at sea. We do a seminar. We give away stuff. Furman's a huge sponsor. I do a presentation. We print certificates of completion for hurricane preparedness. It's an amazing time. So read more about that if you're interested in that. We're capping it this year so we can have a more intimate time. Not that type. All right. Well, anyway, I pretty much covered everything, Katie, right? Don't mean to not talk about individual areas, but I would be irresponsible to talk about the things that are too much. But yeah, the heat, Mickey, I talk about that heat, this intense heat. I remembered it during Irma. I remembered it during Ian. Tomorrow we'll see. Always seems like there's a heat dome ahead of these eye storms approaching. I don't know why. But this is going to be the 3rd eye storm to affect Florida in the last few years. You could say Isaiah did, but it really didn't. Isaiah actually brought trouble to the Outer Banks. What was that, Ocracoke Creek? Is that right? I remember that. They got some big surge up there. Is that how you say Ocracoke Creek or something? Ocoke Creek or something? Ann wants to know about flooding. All I can tell you is flooding is so hard. I do have a lot of surge maps on the site. I think I'm going to move them up here. Here's surge potential. Everything on a surge map is dependent upon angle. And this is very confusing for a lot of folks. This will show you, worst case scenario on a Cat 1. Let's say Cat 2. There's your area. I mean, these are areas that could be underwater with a Cat 2. Now, this would be a storm passing to the north, not to the south. There's a lot of factors on the angle, so it's not a complete exact science, but it gives you an idea, what could happen. I mean, we'd be underwater down in Oldsmar. We got signs that prove it. But anyway, that link's on the site. So it's kind of interesting to look at it and see worst case scenario. The Hurricane Center does a great job, though. When they start issuing more advisories, they'll have a map like this with the current track. So it's a little more easier to understand possible effects when the Hurricane Center puts theirs out. So that'll be soon. All right, cool. So don't worry, you got a lot of time to prepare. The track's pretty much been set now for days. The big question mark, I think, more than anything, is just going to be the intensity. Are we looking at a Cat 1, or are we looking at a 2, or maybe even a major? So I'm not saying it's impossible by any means. Last night I was a little less mentioning the word major hurricane, but we're seeing some models suggest there's a possibility. So we got to keep that in the back of our minds. Until the operational models start to do it, I'm not going to have that level of confidence yet. I think the one good thing is that the main operational models aren't showing anything below 990. But when that first one does, if the euro comes back tonight at 980 range, I know the GFS has. We don't talk about the GFS, but I'm watching that euro like a hawk, and and it all depends tomorrow. If this thing starts to develop, then we got bigger issues down the road. So we'll be live in the morning, 9:19 a.m. on a Sunday. I wish I could play music without getting copyrighted, but I would play Sunday Morning Coming Down by Johnny Cash. But we can't. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great evening, all right? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Shelly, helping out. Thanks to all the new followers. Hopefully you get a little good information out of this, okay? We'll see you tomorrow.